Soborno Isaac Bari is one of the most brilliant young minds of the world. At a very young age, his talent was recognized by former US President Barack Obama and also the Harvard University. He has also been honored with an award by Nobel Laureate Kailash Satyarthi. Soborno, welcome to Kantipur News Talk. It is a pleasure to have you here. What brings you to Nepal?
So, it's a very coincidental situation. Actually, Mr. Yuvraj Sharma, he is very well known around here. He is the founder of AITM College, one of the co-founders, I believe, as well as the current owner of the Himalayan White House School. So, actually, his son is one of my brother's classmates at the City College of New York, where he studies quantum mechanics. And my brother often tells Mr. Sharma's son about me, what I do, and my abilities for my age, because he's very inspired by what I do, and I really love my brother for that. So once again, I don't want to get too off topic, but Mr. Sharma's son talked to Mr. Sharma about this, so the word spread around. Also, as I'm sure you know, I have a very big media presence online. So Mr. Sharma had previously heard of me from there, and then it came to his mind I should invite this person because I mean they could be a real inspiration to our kids.
So is there an event or something that you're addressing here in Kathmandu?
Oh, of course. I've already had several events. I'm sure you know. In fact, yesterday I didn't have any events, but today was when it really started escalating. So yesterday I had a small press conference where I talked to a few reporters. So today I was given the honor of talking to the kids at Himalayan White House School. So I talked to them, gave some very short remarks because actually we were running quite late. I had spent a little too much time traveling, but other than that, actually, I just gave a few remarks about Professor Godfrey Harold Hardy. He's a very well-known British mathematician. So he wrote in his later life a mathematician's apology, which is a literature about motivations for a person to do mathematics. So that's essentially what I wanted to talk about. And after that, I traveled to AITM College, which is not very far from here actually, and I gave a small lecture, only about 1 hour, 30 minutes, about infinite series, so essentially the addition and multiplication of an infinite amount of terms that get ever and ever smaller, or sometimes ever bigger, and it's a very interesting topic, and it can really enhance your understanding of number theory. It has some applications, of course, but I think it is most elegant in just its pure mathematical form. And now I'm here. I just finished traveling back from AITM College, and this is my last event of the day.
All right, so it is very clear that you're more intelligent and sharp than others of your age. So how did it all begin?
So my mom found that one out for me when I was 2 or 3 years old. Actually, my mom was tutoring me in arithmetic, so she was reviewing at the end. All right, so Soborno, what is 2 plus 3? And I told her, well, it's 5. But if 2 plus 3 is 5, what is 2x plus 3x? And she said, 5x. Wow, you're really getting smart. Let's move a little bit quickly then. What is 5 times 12? And I told her, okay, that has to be 60, right? But if 5 times 12 is 60, what is 5x times 12x? And she was like, wow, this is getting out of hand. I need to contact Dad because my dad at that time, he is still a PhD student in mathematics. So essentially, he wanted to tutor me a little bit about math. Of course, he is a great teacher, but even if you understand the concept, it's not always easy to teach it. So when I was 7 or 8 years old, he said, okay, I can't teach you anymore. Let me leave you to my textbook collection. So he had many textbooks lying around from when he was getting through his bachelor's degree and it was very interesting for me to read through those.
So you were reading those textbooks on your own?
Sorry?
So were you reading those textbooks on your own?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So it's very interesting that your middle name is Isaac, right? The parenting that you've mentioned is pretty much like how all of us with Asian background are brought up in our families. Can you please tell me a brief about your family, how they got to the United States, and how they got into their academics, and how the habit of learning actually was established in the family itself?
Actually, we come from a very humble family, very humble beginnings, and still we are doing just fine. We are not. We are definitely not as rich as Mr. Sarma, of course, but I'd say we are doing fine. So actually, my father started off, and he was born in Chottagram or Chittagong, and actually, he didn't. He received the regular education. He was always inspired to work harder, get more into math and science, and so, however, he was forced to move to the United States by 2000 because his father, or my grandfather, actually my grandfather had several different jobs over the course of his life. Most of them are what we call blue-collar jobs or manual labor, so they were very low-paying. They didn't consist of much intellectual effort. So my grandfather came from very humble roots. And once my father made it to the U.S. With his father in 2000, then actually he stayed on his own. And well, my father and my mother were actually very good friends from kindergarten and first grade, so they met pretty early.
So that was back in Bangladesh?
Yes.
Okay.
So in 2003, my brother was born. He also definitely has a big affinity for math and physics, but especially physics. So now he is at the City College of New York studying quantum mechanics. And in fact, that's how Mr. Sarma originally heard about me. So my brother is really my biggest source of inspiration. He works hard every single day, even when the odds are against him. And in fact, actually, when he was applying for his undergraduate degree for his bachelor's in science from high school, he graduated from one of the best high schools in the nation, Brooklyn Technical High School. But actually, he didn't get accepted into very many colleges for his undergraduate. He got rejected from all of the big colleges. Harvard, Columbia, Princeton, Dartmouth, NYU, all of those big ones, MIT, etc. And even a few smaller ones, like Duke, for example. And he felt completely hopeless at the end. So he had to resort to going to the public university, the City College of New York. But even at such a low point in his life, he kept working hard for himself to show everybody else around him that he wasn't just going to sit there in the face of failure. He was going to actually improve and succeed. And during those college years, seeing him excel, keep up a nearly 4.0 GPA. I don't know if you use a 4.0 GPA scale here in Nepal, but he kept 3.95 out of 4 GPA. He was on a basically completely perfect record for his entire semester, and he kept that going on and on and on, and that's what really inspired me to keep doing mathematics even when I was at my low points.
So in addition to mathematics, what other subjects draw your attention or are you interested in? So there were a lot of subjects, of course, physics, computer science, history, the arts, but mainly I like to focus on math because I feel like math is the greatest art or sport of all, and I find it as like a game. So playing around with numbers is my favorite activity. So, well, that reminds me of A Beautiful Mind. I don't know if you've read the book or not. Well, in addition to mathematics, you also are an author, right? So can you please tell us about your publications?
Right. So I started writing my first publication, The Love, when I was 4 or 5 years old. So actually at that time I had just learned about the large terrorist attack on my country, the US, commonly known as 9/11. So 3,000 people's lives were lost that day over something as superficial as religion. Of course, I know there were some people who will argue there were real world causes to that, but whatever the case, there was no reason to fight fire with fire. There was no reason to kill people over something so superficial, especially innocent people who have nothing to do with your intended targets. You have absolutely no reason to target such civilians, such people that did nothing to you. You have no right to be violating innocent civilians' rights and their right to live. So to me, that was heartbreaking, how so many people were quarreling over religion and how it could spiral out of control and establish such effects. So that's essentially why I wanted to write The Love, to foster unity between religions. And to tell my own story about how I would attempt to do the same thing in the future, how I would attempt to try fostering religious peace in the community.
So, well, in terms of religion, we've learned that you celebrate a lot of different festivals, right? So, from different religions as well. Can you please tell us a bit more about that as well?
Right. So, I would like to keep my own religion private, but I definitely have a religion, but I think that is a matter that doesn't need to be shared with the world right now, because the only differences in religion are what they believe happens to you after you die, or you resurrect, or you find perfection, none of which will happen on this plane. So whatever it is, maybe we can discuss it in heaven or Brahman or purgatory or wherever you believe we go after we die. But for now, I would like to celebrate all of the festivals that humanity has given us, no matter their religious connotations or what they denote, because they are for humanity and they are not for harm. They are for us all to enjoy, and they are not for seclusion, but they are for us all to celebrate.
Well, talking about conflicts that you've mentioned, terrorism and attacks at different parts of the world. Well, the world is currently facing several conflicts, right? So what do you think is going wrong, and how can things be amended?
So I think that generally religion is just clouding people's minds so much. But it's not just that. So I have I believe that none of us want to say it, but the main conflict you're referring to is, of course, the conflict going on in Gaza because of the whole religious
We should also
affair.
not be forgetting the war between Russia and Ukraine that is ongoing.
Yes, but I believe that isn't as relevant to religious reasons. So that is ongoing as well. It's been going on for the past 2 years. It's a truly sad case of loss of life on both sides. But what I would like to focus on now, because it is more based around religion and the message I was trying to send in my book, The Love, is the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, or the conflict in Gaza. Now, I have seen many Jews that do not support Israel, and on the other side, many Muslims that do not support Palestine or the group of Hamas. And I would like to say that I'm completely neutral after seeing the acts that both sides have committed. I would like to say that that doesn't mean that I like both sides. Both sides are doing something that they actively should know is terrible for humankind.
But in this case, what is your stance on the take of the government of the United States as it has been backing Israel in the ongoing conflict?
So my stance is that I don't want to get too political here, but I believe that we shouldn't be backing either side. We should just let it play out. And I believe that people's minds are just clouded with thoughts of power. And religion is just a vessel for the leaders of both sides, the group of Hamas and Israel, to attain more ultimate power over their people, which I really do not like.
All right, so coming back to the fact that you are an internet sensation, how does it feel like when people recognize you and your talent? How do they respond whenever you go and travel around the world and give lectures at academic institutions?
So that's a very good question. So of course, the response is definitely very celebratory. India is definitely, India is, I'm mentioning because I mainly travel there. This is my first time traveling to Nepal. But generally the culture of respect, understanding and tradition stays the same, which is in lots of contrast to the US. So, of course, I'm very honored to be received in such a way. So I feel like it's a little too much, actually. That
Does it overwhelm you at times?
No, not really. But I feel like the reception or recognition that I'm receiving could better be delivered to a lot of other people who give lots more important messages, and that I'm simply the person here to say that math is a very fun thing, and that we should look at it in the similar way.
So the internet has also termed you the youngest professor in the world. Is that a terminology that you have adapted yourself to? What is it?
So I think that it's more of an honorary term because of how much I go have guest lecturing sessions all around the world. I wouldn't consider myself a real professor, as to be a real professor you need to have a master's degree or a PhD, neither of which I have, but I'm currently trying to pursue. So I am trying my best to keep up and inform people about math and science. Hopefully, I'm trying to foster my learning in the best way possible and to achieve discovery on the forefront. Lots of people say for the betterment of mankind, and I'll say that too, but more so because of my own intellectual curiosity to see what's behind the scenes.
How do people of your age respond to your intellectual capabilities that you just mentioned?
So the problem is I no longer talk to people of my age, but when I talk to them in third grade or fourth grade, it turns out most third graders and fourth graders, at least the ones that I was with, were living under rocks. So they didn't really look at my online social media presence, and I decided it would be a little arrogant to be just sharing, oh yeah, I had a huge business trip to India last year, just barging in with that kind of unrelated comment that no one asked for, no one cared about, and certainly no one would like, because I felt that was just not in good taste. So I decided that sometimes you don't have to let everybody know about what you're doing outside. So if they ask, of course you should tell them, but I mean, if they don't care, if they didn't request you to say anything, then you should just keep your mouth closed.
Well, now that you are in Nepal, what is your understanding of the Nepali academic or education system? Have you done any research in this regard? What is your understanding of it?
I have, no, really not. I am, these are just my first impressions because I am someone who loves math first, psychology, children's psychology probably last. So I don't have too many big insights on education, but one thing I will share is that Mr. Sharma had me look at several STEM projects, so science, technology, engineering, and math, that each grade from grade 1 to grade 10 had prepared. So all of their projects were very nice, very beautiful. Some of them prepared projects about rain filtering, some of them about the ecosystem, the 10th graders even about a self-driving car that actually worked. And I thought that it was very nice, and all of them demonstrated the technology, the engineering, and sometimes even the science going on behind the scenes. But the most I heard out of them for math was we measured the length and width of our geometry with a ruler. And that doesn't even make sense sometimes because in some of these projects you wouldn't even need to. So I was thinking, why are so little people seeing the applications of math instead of the rest of the STEM into real world life? So I think that having them actually model these situations more accurately, getting them into the nitty-gritty will require math, but more so I think math, and not just for application but also for enjoyment.
Well, given that you are smart and intelligent, way too intelligent for your age, what you've just mentioned is very interesting. So what do you think should be the education system be like to ensure that we have more people of your age like you?
I think we should have people focusing more on the actual measurement, the practicality, but also, as Professor Hardy once said, the applied mathematics are very dull compared to the rest of pure mathematics. Maybe we should just leave the math out of science, technology, engineering, and math. Teach it as its own separate subject, because the applied mathematics are certainly related to the pure mathematics, but that doesn't mean the pure mathematics are as dull. They can be extremely imaginative and branch out into many different fields when you let them be. So I think that math should not just be taught as formulaically as it is right now, but instead like art is taught right now. I see that, of course, like this sculpture right here, Nepal is very good at art and expressing its feelings. Hopefully, if we give the same kind of education in that respect to mathematics, Nepal will succeed.
Oh, one quick question. How do your parents feel about your accomplishments and your talent and capabilities?
Of course, they've been helping me since day one to achieve what I've been accomplishing. So my parents, my brother, my entire extended family has really been helping me. I haven't seen a single bit of envy or jealousy or anything in them so far, at least not my nuclear family, my mom, my dad, and my brother. They've been so helpful, and they share the victories or accomplishments that I have with the same pride. And that's why equally I share the victories that they have.
Well, Soborno, in this day and time, artificial intelligence is developing like anything. So what is your take on how AI is progressing? Should there be a limit to it? What is your opinion in this regard?
I think that I actually discussed this, funnily enough, over lunch right before I came here with the rest of the administration over at AITM College. So AI will probably spiral into some kind of arms race. So there are many students, as you know, who are plagiarizing or straight up making essays up using AI. And now teachers are starting to get other AI tools to detect AI. In fact, the best one is probably what we know as GPT-0 in the US. I've tested it like 10 times, and it's been spot on every single time. They can detect whether it's human, AI, or mixed writing. So it was absolutely amazing to me, but then right after you search up GPT-0, you see GPT-0 bypass. So it's like an arms race where students find a way to plagiarize or make essays far faster. Teachers find a way to detect students' plagiarism. Then students find a way to circumvent the teacher's new technology, and the teachers will probably do the same as well.
So, well, you're focusing in terms of AI in academics, right? So what about AI in other sectors of the world? For example, technology, and even in other different sectors, jobs people might be losing. So what is your opinion in that aspect?
So actually, as I was about to say, of course, it's a similar story with this whole arms race in terms of, for example, military applications in criminal justice, etc., wherever this could be applied, that we're going to have to find ways to differentiate human-generated content from AI, and then people who are going to desire this AI-generated content, whether it helps them fabricate a case like a prosecutor, or whether or not it helps them figure out, AI helps them, figure out the location of an enemy base, then the enemy, whoever is opposing them, they will find a way, for example, in law, to show that the evidence was faked, the video is completely AI generated, or to completely block the base from AI view if it's being applied in warfare, etc. So, of course, they have equally distributed applications everywhere, AI, but I think the main story is going to be the same.
All right, so Soborno, what is your aspiration? What do you want to be, and what are you going to study, or what are you going to do to achieve that goal for yourself?
So I think that the main aspiration that I have is just educating other people as much as I can in terms of math and science. So actually I noticed that many people no longer want to learn math and science. They are just incredibly repulsed by it. and they tend to exaggerate how scared they are or how bad they are at actual mathematics because not because they want to tell other people that they're absolutely horrible, but because they don't want to hear from other people about math and science because it just bores them out of their brains. So I hope to make math and science, as many other people have attempted to do, fun and engaging in terms of physicality, as well as try to advance my own knowledge about the world.
Well, since we've been talking about so many different topics, so what is your take on climate change, which is a global issue?
So climate change is definitely not my area of work because I'm a mathematician first, not a biologist or ecologist or geologist or a geographer or any of those fields who would actually care about global warming. I think that it's definitely a crisis that needs to be attended to, and if our models are correct, then it definitely exists. Believing in the science is definitely better than believing in what your heart wants to tell you because science is empirical, it experiments, and it usually shows us that what it says is correct. Now, of course, I believe global warming is still a theory. There could be other causes, but from what I've heard, most climate scientists are pretty sure that this global warming cycle is being caused by humans. So if so, I support a full scale back of all of the operations that are causing such warming on a global scale. And although humans are stubborn and they won't take that kind of action immediately, I think that it would be very valuable to heed the words of scientists.
Well, one thing on the top of my mind is people of your age have several interests. Like they want to play, they want to go out, have fun with their friends and have chocolates maybe. What are your interests like?
My interest is just mathematics, you know. Mathematics is my form of playing around. Of course, I also enjoy physical games or video games or whatever you would want to say, but math is my primary form of playing around. Turns out not many other people like playing around with numbers. It's a very select few.
Of your age?
No, not of my age. I haven't talked with someone of my age in a very long time.
Yeah.
So I think that I try to connect with other people who are 6 or 8 years older than me on other basis now. Talking with them about things other than math and science. But I engage myself whenever I'm alone and I have free time with math.
Well, it's been a great pleasure, Soborno. We wish you all the very best for your future endeavors.
Thank you.